One of the things that I'm huge on and my whole staff is huge on is developing the relationships with your players. Getting to know your players out off the court, not just on the court. Doing stuff as a team, building the chemistry, things like that, I think is super important.
Welcome to the Focal Flip Podcast. Every week we take a deep dive into the mystery and stigma behind mental health and explore real-life stories of struggle and triumph. We aim to educate and encourage others as we bring together a diverse group of guests. From the streets to sanctuaries, classrooms to boardrooms, mental health does not discriminate, neither do we. Prepare to laugh, prepare to cry, prepare to be changed. Let's get into it. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the Focal Flip Podcast. Nathan Browning is my guest today. I'm sticking with these basketball coaches and some friends of mine here in Northern Kentucky. Nate, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Nate, you want to tell everybody, is this your first podcast
This
ever?
is my first podcast, man. Yeah, I've never done one before, so when you called and asked me to do it, I'm like, sweet, let's do it.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, and then I took my photo to start, that I put on my thumbnail, and he took the very first one correctly. I didn't have to be like, hey, you need to he just rolled right in. So this guy's a natural.
Yeah, hopefully so. We'll see if you're still saying the same thing after we're done talking.
I'm pretty sure I will. I've known you long enough now. So, all right. Hey, let's get right from the rip. From the basketball folks that listening know you, you've been in the basketball world for quite a while.
Long time.
Tell me about it. Give me the kind of the lineage and
we just had
coaching.
our conversation about being at the same UK basketball camp.
Yeah.
30 years ago or whatever, 1996, 97, 98 UK basketball camp.
Man. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I've been playing for a long time. I started coaching right out of high school. I went to UK and I was walking through the halls of my classroom building and just happened to glance up on the wall and see that they needed a coach on the wall. So I'm like, I'll call them and see what they say. I don't know if they're looking for a 19-year-old kid, but we'll give it a try. And so I called them up. They brought me in for an interview, and I got hired to coach a 5th and 6th grade team at this school. It was called the Lexington School in Lexington. It's a private school. A lot of those kids will go to Sayre and Lexcath and those schools. So I went and coached there, and I made it about 2 or 3 weeks before the 7th and 8th grade coach got let go for whatever reason. They didn't tell me.
Yeah.
And then came to me and said, hey, would you rather coach the 7th and 8th grade instead of the 5th and 6th grade? So I coached the 7th and 8th grade right there. I did that for 5 years. In Lexington, loved it, had a great time, a lot of great families, good kids. It was a different type of kids that I was used to being around. I went to public schools throughout, so getting used to being around the private school area and the private school families.
Just like working with the parish and everything.
Yeah, it was different. It was cool, but I had a great time. A lot of great people around that area that brought me in, and kind of, because I wasn't, I didn't live in Lexington growing up, so they kind of brought me in and helped me in the city and get me acclimated and things like that. So it was a lot of fun.
Because you went to school down there, right?
Went to UK, went to UK, got my kinesiology and health degree to teach PE and health. So
very cool.
That's kind of how I got into the teaching part of it. But once I got my job at Boone County High School in 2008, I started coaching at Ackerman. I coached the 8th grade at Ackerman, so my 8th grade coach, John Smith, who's getting ready to retire finally from teaching, but he stepped down as the coach and kind of let me step into that spot, which was pretty cool. He was my 8th grade coach at Ackerman. So, I came in, coached 8th grade at Ackerman for 5 years. Won a lot of games there, not because of me, but because of all the great players that I had. I coached a lot of really good players at Ackerman when I was there. I coached Thad Moss. I coached Sean McNeil that went and playing professionally.
Yes, he is playing pro.
Dante Hendricks, who was another really good one for Cooper when they went to the state championship. He was my point guard 1 year at Ackerman. So
wide receiver too.
Yes, really good football player. So I coached a lot of really good players there that won a lot of games. So I was lucky to be at that spot at that time. But then I got the freshman job at Boone. Lucky enough to get that opportunity from Greg McQuarrie. He hired me as the freshman coach. Great guy. Learned a lot from him. Super great basketball mind. He's probably forgot more about the game than I know about the game. So So I got lucky and got the freshman job that year. After I was done coaching at Ackerman for 5 years, got the freshman job and then did that for 3 years. And then he brought me on as his JV coach. I did that for 3 years, and then he stepped down, and I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to be the varsity coach at Boone.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I did not know that whole story. That's very cool.
yeah. So
You have literally done it from the ground up,
from
man.
the ground up. Yeah, it's and I tell people I wouldn't have wanted to do it any other way because it makes me appreciate where I'm at.
Sure, I totally can get that perspective.
Work really hard to make it to this point. So getting to coach the varsity basketball team at Boone, which is where I went, was really cool. And then of course now I'm at Connor. We live in Hebron. I teach at Connor Middle. My kids are going to go to Connor Middle and Connor High School. It's less than 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So it was a great opportunity for me to be closer to home and things like that. So
yeah, I think that's kind of what I had figured too. I mean, I had been out to a couple parties at your house and knew you lived in Hebron. It was like, I bet he would want to end up, out that way with the growing family.
Oh yeah.
And it was it was interesting to see all of that kind of transpiring. What was it like? So tell me about your experience as head coach at Boone.
Boone was awesome, man. Boone was awesome.
Like I said, good kids, man.
Getting to coach where you went and where you played was a really cool experience. I had a lot of really good kids that I got to coach when I was at Boone.
Yeah.
Really hard workers, great kids off the court, doing really good things now off the court. So a lot of really, really awesome guys that I got the opportunity to coach, and I coached with a lot of really good guys that helped me on my staff.
Yeah.
Like I said, Greg giving me that opportunity kind of opened this door for me. So I'm always appreciative to Greg, and he still sends me text messages from time to time telling me good luck, and
that's cool.
He's keeping up with my teams and things like that. So that was really cool. That's really cool to have him still talking to me. But coaching at Boone was awesome. I will forever be grateful for the opportunities that I got there. And then, of course, last year, having the pretty good year that we had last year, I just had a lot of really good, tough kids that I coached last year, and they'd been playing since they were, sophomores. So they kind of took their lumps early and then kind of learned how to deal with it and figured it out and bought in and just did everything that we were asking them to do. And
that's awesome.
We ended up getting, having a good year last year, and it was exciting for them. Heartbreaker in the district tournament, obviously. And that was that's always tough. When you work so hard, everybody knows that. Of course, the speech you give every time is only one team wins their last game in the state of Kentucky.
That's it.
And so everybody else is losing their last game. So it's a tough one, but great kids. Still talk to them. They'll do a lot of really good things in life.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That's what it's all about.
That's
man.
right.
That's why we had this conversation kind of before we even started recording.
That's right.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
So then let's go into Connor, man. Congrats on getting the job.
Yeah, thank you.
That's exciting. I gotta question your sanity. I get it a little bit with where you're wanting to live, but coaching in the 33rd, dude.
It's the gauntlet. Every coach will tell you. Every coach in the 33rd will tell you. If you talk to Tim Sullivan, you talk to Nick Dorning, now Todd Humphrey will learn.
Yeah, Todd's
in his first year at Boone. It's a tough district, man. It's like you got to bring your A game, or you're not going to the regional tournament. That's just the way it is. And
good teams get left out in that district. That's for
right.
Sure, man.
Yeah, and I see you have preseason rankings on here, and and that's always people's opinions, and I get that, and that's cool. And I don't look too much into preseason rankings, and I think any coach you talk to probably going to say the same thing.
It's perfect. You're number 3, everybody. He's number 3. Keep going. That's why I put it on there.
I would almost rather not be on the preseason rankings, and be able to look at it that way. But when you look at the preseason rankings now from a lot of different people, you see Cooper, you see Ryle, you see Connor, right up there towards the top, and that's 3 teams in the same district.
In the same district, I know.
So, it's tough, and you got to bring it night in and night out. Those district games are tough, man.
They are something else.
And we talked about me going up from 8th grade all the way to coach varsity, and there's just no night that you can just say, hey, you know what, I can just out-coach this guy. There just isn't those nights. All the coaches in Northern Kentucky can coach.
They're good, aren't they?
They can coach. And so you got to bring your A game as a coach. The players got to bring their A game as players, or it's going to be a long season. So
yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I want to have a lot of you guys out here.
Yeah, man,
is because it's tough.
It is.
It is an absolute gauntlet, and then you get in the district matchups and district seeding games. I've gotten to play Simon Kenton was in the 33rd way back in the day when I played.
Yep.
And we were in the 33rd.
Yeah.
Tough then, and then coming
7
out and
teams
coaching
in the district, I think.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
And then coming out and coaching at Ryle, it's so hard. Every single district game, especially when you're going in that district tourney.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every team is so well prepared, and the environment but somebody always gets left out.
It's tough.
It's
tough.
It's
yeah,
tough.
it was. Like I said, that was a heartbreaker for us last year. We thought that those guys made a goal at the beginning of the year to make it to Northern because they hadn't been there yet.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make it to Northern. So yeah, that was tough for us. That was tough for me. I wanted to help get them to that point, to that goal, and not being able to reach that goal is tough. Yeah. So,
all right, let's move past it. We're moving past it, guys. We're moving past it. All right, tell me about these. I put the preseason rankings on there because of the fact that I think it's hilarious now because I know all of you guys hate it. And so I just slide it in there. And it's funny that I'm like neutral and I'm like watching different rankings come out. And I've always been the kind of coach where I'm like, put me at the bottom or put me in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Like I don't even really like either way. Like I know my players are going to find their way to it.
Right.
And now I have to use something to kind of be like, all right, here, we're going to use this as motivation, or I'm going to tell you to stop looking at it now.
Bulletin board material, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I used to coach soccer too at Boone, and I was fortunate enough to coach a lot of really good players in soccer too. And we actually won the district and region in 2012 and went to the state tournament, made it all the way to the Final Four of the state tournament that year, and we were not ranked in the top 10 to start the year.
Oh, what a great story.
So that's, like I said, I would rather be the underdog. I want to be that underdog that's fighting and clawing. And that's kind of, we got to be that at Boone a lot of times, which was fun to coach, guys that are the underdog. So I'm always good for that. So yeah, preseason rankings, they got to make them, and I get that. And everybody wants to see it. We talked about that.
Entertainment.
It's entertainment, but we don't put a whole lot of thought into that. And if we do, it's like you said, it's bulletin board material for some motivation. Put
it up there, let them go with what they want.
Our guys are kind of hungry because of the year they had last year, and Connor's kind of used to being on the top.
Yeah.
So after having that year last year, I think our guys are a little hungry.
Yeah, it's 11-17 record last year, right?
Yep.
Little chip on their shoulder coming into this season.
Yeah, and they've talked about that multiple times with me. So
good for them.
So they're ready to go.
So working their ass off in the off season.
They have been, yes. A lot of guys working really, really hard.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of work in the weight room, and we've had several guys that have gone to Nevels, worked out with Jordan. And
Jordan does all right.
He's the man. He's the man. Yep.
He gets some serious results.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I gave them the choice when I got that job. I gave them the choice of where they wanted to go.
Yeah, good for you.
Talked to the players, said, "Hey, man, I'm good with whatever. Where do you guys want to go? And I'll try to set it up." And they all said they wanted to go to Nevels. So
yeah, well, they're definitely going to get some results out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
that's exciting. So you've got Finn Loudon coming back, Landon Warner. A couple other ones have been mentioned in these little newspaper articles. We got Brady Bushman, Chase Huff, Tyler Warner. I don't like to get into too many of the names very much just because I feel like I can't highlight the rest of the team.
Right. And I'm the same way, yeah.
Yeah, but, I have gotten to watch Finn and Landon, and I've gotten to peek in and see. I'm friends with you and Ryan Curtis, man.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So when you guys were playing and you first took over Connor and you're playing your summer ball up at Simon Kenton, I had to pop my head in up there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I loved what I saw. I'm excited for the season.
Yeah, I got some kids that we always talk about. We want to have some dogs on our team, and we got some.
Good.
There's no doubt about that. But yeah, some kids that can play, some skilled kids can shoot, very coachable. I haven't had any issues with kids not being coachable yet. Listen to everything, take your coaching, do their best to fix it.
Wow.
Yes, sir, no, sir. it's been awesome. I had a really good group of kids.
That's amazing. Shout out Connor High School.
Absolutely, yeah.
Boys
and they work really
basketball
hard.
Program, parents, all of
parents,
that. That's fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. They've been raised very well. So
that's great, and that I love that, because when parents and student athletes understand the holistic part that comes into improving yourself and wanting to accomplish goals.
Yes.
It's not just one way of driving a truck.
That's right.
You know, you've got to get all that support that you can get, and then you see those players excel at another level, and you can see the difference.
Oh yeah.
As coaches, we see it playing night and day.
Yeah, there's no doubt when you get the support of the parents.
Yeah.
It makes a world of a difference.
Yeah, it's huge.
You know, I will say last year, my group of parents last year were awesome. So far, you know, I don't know these parents as well yet, but everything that I've heard and everything that I've seen from the parents so far has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Support is great. You know, they come and they cheer for the kids in the games, the summer games, scrimmages, things like that. So, you know, I haven't heard anything about parents being, you know, saying things negative in the stands or anything like that. It's all positive, so it's
cool.
great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like going to these district games. Connor games are great too. I mean, all the district games are fun in the 33rd.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition into what is it like when you're leaving your alma mater and then going to Connor, and then like, do you bring just your regular coaching philosophy from Boone to Connor? What do you do in those types of situations when you go from that school to this school?
This is the first time.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking. Like, this wasn't on the paper. It was just, I had to ask you.
Hopefully,
like, what's that like?
Hopefully, you know, what I'm doing is what I need to do. You know, we'll see. But yeah, I got the philosophy and the way that I believe. And one of the things that I'm huge on, and my whole staff is huge on, is developing the relationships with your players. Getting to know your players off the court, not just on the court. Doing stuff as a team. Building the chemistry, things like that, I think is super important. And, you know, we did that at Boone, having the players over to my house, watch film, you know, watch UK games. Some of my guys, if they listen to this that aren't UK fans, will probably be like, oh, man.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm with Coach Brown.
But, yeah, we'll have them over, and we'll do stuff as a team. So getting to know your kids, man, and getting to develop that relationship off the court to make sure that they understand that that you care about them more than just coaching them on the basketball court, I think is huge. So that's one of the really important things that I am always focused on as a coach, regardless of where I'm coaching at, that needs to be done. So, and then of course, you know, you got your hard work and your discipline and things like that that I would bring with me anywhere too. So
no, you've already got that. Let's get into the mental health part, because you already went into that piece. Because you just started going into there about being on and off the court.
Yeah.
Nate.
No, yeah.
So one of my, clearly, I'm a mental health coach. So it's huge for me. So one of my pieces I highlighted here was mental health becoming a bigger focus in sports. So you said you focus on them on the court, off the court. What do you like to do? I follow you on Facebook. And some other coaches when they have their team outings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm huge for that. I'm a big organization guy. I was in a fraternity team, and I'm all about learning one another.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some of the things that you guys do?
I've done a lot of stuff, man. I mean, there's not really just one thing that I do. Like I said, I've had my teams over to my house. They played basketball in the driveway. We played cornhole. You know, I got a Pop-A-Shot in the basement, so of course they're down there getting after it on the Pop-A-Shot, you know, trying to see who can win. I've taken teams in the past, not recently, but I've taken teams in the past. Like when I coached soccer at Boone, we went bowling, and I had a lot of kids on my team from other countries, and they had no idea what was going on. They thought they got to keep the bowling shoes when they rented them. You know, we would have team breakfasts. We would have, you know, where a parent would have the team over and fix breakfast for them. And we had a kid that had never had waffles before when I was coaching soccer. So, of course, the great teammates that my guys tried to get him to put ketchup on his waffle because he'd never had a waffle before. So that was funny. So my wife had to step in on that one and say, don't put ketchup on your waffle.
Good job, Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca. Shout out to Rebecca.
Shout out, Rebecca.
Yeah. So she got him to put his syrup on there. But yeah, just anything to get them together and doing things and having a good time outside of basketball, I think is huge. And we'll do as much as we can this year with these guys too. So
yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's amazing because you can get incredible cohesiveness out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think back in the day, a lot of coaches kind of missed that because we were kind of like, we were just, here was your outline. This is what you go do to work.
Yeah,
it
was basketball and that's it.
And if we did things, it was kind of more of us doing it like as a
group
thing.
Together.
No
coach.
Yeah, like. Nothing, no knock on Steiner and Humphrey or anybody because we did do stuff, but no, I think it's amazing that you do it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually wanting. I hope tons of coaches do it. When we're off, I'll give you something that is pretty cool that I want you to try with your team.
Yeah, man, I'd love it.
Yeah, it's something that I actually learned from like an organization.
Okay.
And it's never really been talked about much, so maybe we can be the guinea.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Yeah, for sure.
If you really enjoy doing that kind of stuff, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take that. So there's your cohesiveness. You're building that. You're learning the player. You're learning the person. So you take this and you're building your team throughout the season. You're going towards one goal of winning games, championship. So when you're in the midst of a game and you know your players, okay, how do you handle the mentally challenging moments in players during the game when they have like a mental breakdown or when they have you can see them on the verge of an emotional breakdown, or you can see that it's going to be damaging to the team and the player. Can you tell me about what you do as a coach when it comes to being aware of that, and then how do you coach that?
Yeah, noticing that sometimes is tough. Some guys can hold it in pretty good. And getting to know them throughout the year and getting to know them throughout the years, if you've had guys multiple years, it's a little easier to notice.
Yeah.
But I think developing that relationship that I talked about, and getting to know them off the court and letting them know they care about you, you can approach them about those things in a game, and you can talk to them and kind of get it out of them what's going on if you have that relationship. I think if you don't build those relationships and you don't know those guys as an individual and off the court, because every kid's different. I mean, you got to coach every kid differently. You can yell at some kids. Some kids you need to put your arm around them and let them know how good they're doing all the time. And some kids you have to explain everything to, over and over again for them to get it. And they're just different. Kids are different.
Yep.
So getting to know them off the court and developing that relationship, I think, allows you to notice those things.
Sure.
And see if something like that's going to happen. And we actually had a situation like that in one of our scrimmages that we just played. I could see a kid kind of getting frustrated. And so I just sent somebody up to go get him out. And I just brought him over to the bench and sat him down, put my arm around him and said, "Hey, man, I can see what's going on here." And, I won't go into details of what happened or anything like that. But when it all came down to it, he was like, "Coach, I understand. I get it. And I'm sorry." And he was getting frustrated with the kid on the other team that we were playing.
Into his head.
Yeah. And so I kind of explained to him, I'm like, "Look, he kind of got a hard foul." And he was kind of upset about it, felt like he was trying to hurt him. And I kind of explained to him, like, "Hey, man, I think he was just trying to make sure you didn't get an easy bucket. I don't think he was trying to hurt you."
Yeah. It wasn't malicious
like
intent.
That. And so, you could kind of see him festering and getting upset. And he was going to the free throw line to shoot free throws. And that's why I said I got a sub for him and brought him out. Just put my arm around him and talked to him for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And explained to him, like, "Hey, this is how it is. I don't think he was trying to hurt you, blah, blah, blah." And by the end of the conversation, he was great.
That's fantastic.
He was
That's
great.
A perfect example.
So, I mean, just
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, just being able to talk to your players like that, I think, is huge. And then, of course, you mentioned Ryan Curtis. Ryan Curtis, my JV coach, great
Did
guy.
Did you hand these off to the assistants?
Great guy. I mean, he is. When you talk about the cheerleader on the team, I mean, he is the positive guy all the time. You know, he makes every kid on the team feel like they're the best player in the region all the time. You know, and because he just has their back, he's just one of those guys, and you know him, and that's just how he is with everybody.
Yeah, he's a very good friend.
He's just an awesome dude, and so a lot of times, you know, he'll take over that role too and talk to those guys in the middle of the game while I'm coaching. So that's a big one too. And I got a lot of positive guys on my staff, man. I got a really good staff. I'm really fortunate. Bailey Craddock coaches my freshman. He went to Connor. He's a Connor guy, and so he's a really positive guy, and the kids feel really comfortable with him too. So he can talk to him. Travis Conley's a positive guy. He coached with me for a year at Boone, and he's back with me again. He's a great guy. And then I got a guy named Brian Dutton that came in this year. He's from Michigan. He used to coach high school basketball in Michigan. Actually, was a college coach for a year in Michigan.
Cool.
And he is phenomenal. He's really good. The kids, you know, listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. He gets in practice and like actually plays in the drills and stuff with us. So I think awesome. the kids see it in person. Like, this guy can play. You know, he knows what he's talking about.
They'll give him some respect.
So yeah. So yeah, no, I got some positive guys on my staff, man, and I think that's when you're talking about something like that. I think a lot of times that's what it comes down to, is just talking and having a conversation with those guys and just letting them know, you know, this is where we're at. This is how it is. And,
that's great.
And talking through it.
It sounds like you're really good at it too. I mean, you've had plenty of practice, and you can't teach somebody who has a genuine heart either.
Right. Right.
So I just think it's amazing that you have that awareness. And that was going to be my next question, was with the assistants. Cause I mean, with being the head coach, there's a lot that's involved in being a head coach.
Yep.
So in that, I do know Ryan. I love him to death. He's a great friend of mine. His relationship with kids and players, it's unbelievable.
Second to none. Yeah.
It's incredible. Like they carry on texting conversations, and he is just, it's amazing. There's a lot of assistant coaches that, you know, do provide that support. So that's where I was going to ask, like, you know, when you're in the heat of those moments as a head coach, you've only got so much time to kind of like help Jimmy, you know, like, do you go, all right, or I've seen Ryan where Ryan's kind of beat you to it, you know?
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah, he's great, man.
Yeah, you guys are just like, how long have you all been friends?
We've been friends since we were 4 years old. So
that's crazy.
Long time. Yeah, amazing. Long time. We played sports together growing up. So he's one of those guys that can say, you know, we get along so well, and we've known each other so long that, you know, he can say in certain situations, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You know, and some people feel, you know, speaking to their head coach, feel like, I don't know if I should say something. And I love that he says it. Yeah. My Evan Middendorf was my JV coach last year at Boone, and he finally got to that point. We were actually playing Simon Kenton last year, and he made a comment to me like, what are you doing? You know, we got to do this, we got to do that. I'm like, thank you. Speak up and let me know. I can't do it myself.
That's what I want too, is if I'm head coaching.
I can't do it myself. And I've told guys, like you know,
what ideas?
It's not my team, it's our team. And my whole staff's involved. It's not me. So yeah, having those guys, man, to help you out and develop the relationship with the kids too is important, man. You got to have that.
It's amazing. Nate, you've done an incredible job working right through this outline without me having to even ask these questions.
Hey,
great job.
I'm trying, man.
Your first podcast is fantastic, man. Anybody who's going to be watching, I'm going to pump some reels out on this dude, because he's done a great job on this.
I appreciate it.
You've explained everything so well. I appreciate your mentality, your thought processes, and your approach to coaching the game. Like you were saying before, we were talking about UK basketball camp. I mean, it's been in your blood ever since you were little.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, love it. Love the game.
When do you ever see you stop, and you've got a growing family, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got a 2-year-old. Tell us about, how old are your kids?
I got an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a soon-to-be 2-year-old. She'll be 2 on Christmas Day. She was born Christmas Day. Yeah.
And you were coaching basketball and you were coaching soccer at one point back in the day. How do you do?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I got a
thanks, Rebecca. That's gonna be all.
That's where I'm going with this. I got a an amazing wife that does everything. And I know she's stressed, and I know it's a lot on her. But she does it all and doesn't complain and doesn't ever get on me about not being home and not doing this and not doing that. She just steps up and does it. So being a head coach, if you don't have a wife like that, it's hard. It'll be hard. So I was blessed, and I was fortunate enough to find a woman who will support me and help me in all those things. I mean, we got kids going everywhere. I got my oldest playing soccer.
Yeah, you're getting ready to leave here like super fast.
I got my middle daughter playing volleyball. They're both playing in a rec volleyball league today at Sports Fall Swords. So I got to go. I got to get to that after here, and then I got a almost 2-year-old that's into everything, running around. She's awesome. I love her to death, but she's a lot. She gets into everything. She's ready to go. Like if we put her out on a field or a court right now, she'd probably be ready to go.
Oh man,
already.
That's going to be fun.
So once we get 3 involved in stuff, then it's going to be really busy. But
I'll do a pulse check on you then. I'll bring
yeah. Once she starts playing stuff, we just talked about this morning, putting her in like the little miniature gymnastics or whatever it is that we put the girls in when they were her age, because she's at that age now that she can do it. So
she can get involved and do it. That's amazing. Anything you want to end with, man? We're right at 30 minutes, 32 minutes here.
No, man, I appreciate you having me on.
No, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's great what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
The mental part of the game and the mental part of the coaching and the mental part with the players and things like that, I think is super important. Mm-hmm. And all the stuff that you're doing with that and that you're talking to me about wanting to do with that, I think is awesome. I think the kids will get a lot of positive information from that. Mm-hmm. And I think will help them a ton because, awesome. Like you said, the mental health part of the game and the mental health in general in our country and in the world right now is something that everybody's focusing on a lot more than they ever did. So, getting kids to buy in and understand that it's okay to let their coaches know if something's wrong, or to talk to their coaches or to talk to anybody, their parents, somebody, if they need help with something is important.
Yeah.
And like you said, if a coach can be that person, that's great.
Yeah.
So
thank you, man.
That's the goals we're trying to do with our guys, and then you stepping up and doing this stuff and getting these podcasts out and letting people listen to the mental part of it, I think's awesome.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's the goal.
Yeah, man.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
I can't wait to just watch a bunch of games too.
Yeah, no. So, come on out, man.
Yeah.
Come out
hey, thanks
Connor.
a lot, man. I appreciate you coming out. I wish you nothing but the best of luck this first year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, we're excited.
Can't wait to be at the 33rd games.
Yeah, we're excited, man. Yeah, it's a dogfight every time.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, everybody, that's a wrap. Hit like, hit subscribe, tap the bell, whatever it is. I'm too old to even say those things. I'm swiping. That's it. All right. Nate, again, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
We're out.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. You ready to wrap this thing up?
If you like Focal Flips videos, my dad's videos, go to YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, and like and subscribe to be updated.
I love it.